Hello there, Scott here again. This is June 3rd, 2024. Uh, Today I disassembled the motor in order to refresh the the bearing oil in all of the joints. And this is an opportunity to kind of ramble on all the components of the motor. So I'm going to loose assemble the motor and then talk about all of the different pieces. So the basic frame is the what you got to start with. If you want to, actually, you can use this information if you want to build your own motor. I'm going to kind of ramble and provide a lot of details. The frame is assembled with wood primarily, metallic fasteners. I tried to use brass screws in areas where there'll be magnets. Try to minimize any of the attraction forces with the magnets. However, even with brass screws, you still will get some eddy currents. So have to account for that. As part of the frame, you have to rigid attach the crankcase. Basically, it's a frame to hold the crank and the connecting rod. I'll talk about those in a little bit. This is a kind of a poor man's crankcase. They're just screwed on to the frame. The other end, you have a rocker arm. At the bottom end of the rocker arm is a shaft, again brass, with some bearings riding on that shaft. And we'll get into assembling that later on. Basically, starting with the crank, you want the crank to be able to sit up in your case. I'm going to hold it on the bearing, and you want it to have free motion, like so. Boom. And we'll loose attach this. That's number one. Get this guy held on. I need my drill. Again, we're not going to tighten everything right now. Okay. There's that. So this will connect to the upper end of the rocker arm and then the lower end of the rocker arm. So next and this is just a pin and a bearing that came with the crank. And again, you want that crank to be free to rotate. And then for the rocker arm, I used a lot of balsa wood. It's very lightweight. Basically, it's non-magnetic. That's the other property that's important on this. And this will connect like so to the upper end, or to the end of the connecting rod that's included with the crank. The crank I used came out of a small 20 horsepower motorcycle, basically a kid's bike, and it's a single stroke, or a single piston. So basically all we've done is replace the piston with a rocker arm. On the rocker arm, this again is built with balsa wood. It's got 4 components. The upper one we already talked about, connecting to the connecting rod. This third one, the second one here, basically it's set up to allow for the connection of springs. We can then look for mechanical harmonics, and there's a little magnet there that does that. See if there's any benefits to including springs with the rocker arm. The second component is the permanent magnet. This magnet is 1 inch diameter on both sides and 2 inches in length. It's a fairly large magnet for a motor. This is a Gauss meter. You can take a look to see what kind of let's see, know that. There we go. We put this on the meter. It says 485 millitesla. Switch it over to Gauss, and you get 4,900 Gauss, 4,600, 47, depends. 3,600. So it depends where you hit it on the magnet. It's smack in the middle, 4,900. Off to the edge, 4,400, 3,800. So a fairly large magnet. And that's 1, 2, 3. The fourth end is the connection to the rod that's rigid attached to the frame. And on this, we have some bearings, which will then go into our little frame here. Again, balsa wood. In order to hold that, I need to shim it just in case it wants to hold it tight. Yep, just a little bit. Okay, and this guy will go in here. Loose attach that real quick. Again, these are brass screws, non-magnetic. See, there's no magnetic attraction, just any metal in the vicinity of a magnet that's moving will create eddy currents. So that should be creating some very slight eddy currents within the piece of metal. Anyway, that goes like so. This then comes on to the